Welcome back, everyone, to the Tojo Dojo for another exciting, action-packed international episode, ish,
We're
of
always
Picks Here in
international.
Review.
I'm English, you're American.
That's we're in different states. So kind of we're crossing a border over the internet a little bit. But today we got a very exciting episode because normally we review and talk about rather games, movies. We've even done the odd food review here and there. Today is a first, a country review.
Yeah, we will be rating it as a whole.
Yes, the entirety of the country of Japan is under review now by us. So,
Sounds so silly.
yeah,
But...
I know it sounds evil, like there's something horrible behind it, but no, it's not. You obviously just got back, still from a trip from Japan, still maybe a little jet lagged, and now we're gonna go over your trip for your first time, and obviously I'll chime in given that I've been there plenty of times and used to live there, so I'm curious if your experiences have matched mine. So I'll give it over to you to kick us off.
So just spent 2 weeks in Japan. Spent about 10 days, 11 days in Tokyo in total, and 3 days in Osaka. So
nice.
Little bit of variety, but like a lot of people. First thing everyone's like, "Oh, did you go to Kyoto as well?" I'm like, "No, didn't have time." Like that seems to be the second place everyone like. So if I ever go back, I'd like to do Kyoto. But will I go back?
Oh yeah,
depends how the review goes.
Exactly. But the thing to keep in mind is even if you just did Tokyo, you could spend an entire year in Tokyo and never get bored. There's so much stuff to do there. So it's tough, especially when you're going there for your first time. You're like, oh, I want to see all these cool places, but you kind of have to like not kill yourself on the travel to get to all those other places as well, and kind of like budget your time. So yeah.
Well, the first thing that shocked us was we landed in the airport. And they were like, oh, pointing all the signs. And I said to my wife, I was like, well, we should go to the bathroom now. I said, because we got a queue for customs. And then we had to pick up like a little pocket Wi-Fi thing, exchange some money, get a bus ticket to our hotel. So I was like, let's go to the bathroom now. So we're not in a 2-hour line somewhere and need to go. Okay. So she waited with the bags. I went first. I only needed a pee, but I walked past the cubicle. And saw there was a hole in the ground.
First exposure to Japan right there.
No toilet, just a hole in the ground. And I came out laughing and I said to her, like, you're not going to believe me because I
get this.
Yeah, I'm like, but you're about to go in there and I just want to give you the heads up that it was just a hole in the ground. And apparently she struggled. She said that she was like squatting and holding onto railings and trying to lift her clothes up and stuff like that.
It's awkward.
And then she found out once she got out of that cubicle that the next 2 cubicles actually had toilets.
Yep, that's usually what happens.
Yeah.
Good, you got the first experience.
Yeah, but the first thing that shocked me about Japan was the toilets, is because I sat down and it was warm.
And not because someone else was just on it.
And it was one of those things where when I came back, I legit almost jumped off the toilet because I sat down and it was cold. In the 2 weeks, I had grown accustomed to it being warm.
There's this thing that happens, I feel like, with a lot of foreigners who go there and then they come back to very soon after order like a top of the line Toto toilet with all the buttons and warming because they're like, oh, you can't go back now. Come on.
We're building a house at the moment, and I legit was talking to the builder 2 days ago about where the outlets will be.
All right, you got the long-term plan. You got to get the bidet, the button attachments, plays the music for you. Oh yeah. Nice. You're converted.
So we stayed in Shinjuku, and the bus just dropped us off at Shinjuku Station. And we were like, we didn't have our Wi-Fi set up at this point, so we were like, where do we go? Because we're typical millennials where we don't know like roads and how they work. We just follow our Google Maps. If it tells us to drive into the sea, we drive into the sea.
You have to do it.
But I soon was like, I know where we need to go. Because of the Yakuza games.
Well, honey, I got this. Yeah. I've been training for years.
No, I did. I legit knew. I was like, it's this way.
Yes.
And we went, and our hotel was there. There was the Don Quixote on the corner, like in the games.
Yep.
And down there was our hotel.
Yeah.
And that was it. I was shocked at how much it actually seemed like it. I was like, this is insane.
Well, yeah, like I've told you before with Yakuza 3, I mean, I know it's not everyone's favorite, but I have that personal attachment because I was in Okinawa, and there's that main, like, town, the hub with all of, like, that fish market and all that stuff. They recreated it, like, perfectly. Like, they do, like, I know, I mean, it sounds kind of like we're kidding, but no, they do an amazing job of recreating these locations. Like, it's not just random buildings. Like, they actually take time.
Well, that's it. Some of the buildings are, like, just, you can tell, inspired. And then, like, you know, I'm walking past, I'm like, well, that's an Italian restaurant in the game, but here it's just like this random building. I don't know what's in there. So it's a little different, but it's more actually the layout of everything is completely the same. And that shocked me. And I was like, I kind of know my way around here already.
So wait, how many men in diapers did you encounter?
No, I did. So, first day we're there, like the second day, another bathroom story. I'm at a urinal. I'm the only one in the bathroom. A man walks in, urinal next to me, drops his all the way down to the ankles. Right?
Good.
And I'm there peeing, and at that point, what can you do? You're midstream. You can't just zip up and walk away because you're freaked out.
Yeah, you're in for the long haul here.
All the way down, right? To the point where I'm like, am I imagining this? And like, I finish, turn around, wash my hands, and I look up for a quick glimpse in the mirror and see, no, I was correct. Both things, all the way down to the ankles. And because that was like my first full day in Japan, I was like, is this a thing here that I've never read?
Should I do it? Is this customary?
Yeah, never happened again. But that did, like, I was like, what was that all about?
That's
amazing. To me, that's more effort than just, like, you know, zip out.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, he's trying to make a statement there.
Trying to scare the Westerner out of the country.
Oh, my God.
But no, so first day we went to Shibuya. And the main thing I think that would interest you and probably the two people that watch us, a building called Parco, which is like a shopping mall. And the top floor is all like nerd-themed stores. So they have a Nintendo store, a Capcom store, a Pokemon store, and a Jump store, like the animes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. The Nintendo store was cool. Like, part of it, they only really have certain series there, though. You know, they have Mario, Animal Crossing, Kirby, Zelda, and they were really big into Splatoon over there, it looks like. Apparently Japan loved, because everywhere we went, Splatoon stuff, Splatoon. Like, even like,
well, it's like their only new IP in the last, like, decade.
Yeah. And even the
in all honesty,
even the Pikmin section, I'm like, that's just because Pikmin's come out recently. Yeah. You know, like, I doubt that's a permanent fixture in that store, you know?
Sure.
But yeah, I didn't know anything about Platoon. What I'll say is, like, Nintendo's still got a way to go with its merch. They could have so much more, because, like, my wife always likes to have a shirt of most of the places. She's a big Animal Crossing fan. Honestly, most of the Animal Crossing stuff she got was, like, stationery. Because, like, they had, like, 2 shirt designs.
You know, it's funny you'd say that, because about a decade ago when I was in New York, I went to the Nintendo store there. I don't know, I can't remember if it started out as the Pokemon Center, then turned into the Nintendo store, or something like that. But anyways, they had a special collaboration that year, or not collaboration, but like a art event, or whatever you want to call it. And I still have this shirt actually that I got from there where it's a picture that a photographer took of Central Park in New York, and they superimposed Wind Waker's version of Link, like feeding birds. So it's kind of like
Oh,
this blend of like a cartoon Link, but like actual photography. And I was like, okay, damn, that's a really sick,
yeah.
like unique kind of merch. I wish they would do more stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, even the Mario section, like, a bunch of it was the Legos.
Oh,
You
okay,
know,
yeah.
and, like, stuff like that. Like, quite a few
You could get
kids.
that anywhere.
Yeah, some of the toys for the movie, stuff like that. I mean,
Hmm.
we got a shirt that says Nintendo Tokyo on it.
Yeah.
She bought a mug that has like Mario walking with like Isabelle from Animal Crossing, Link, and like the Splatoon person.
Hmm.
You know, but I was expecting a lot more options.
Hmm.
And Nintendo's a big brand. I feel like there should be, because you look at most brands, right? You go in a store specific to them, they have like 30 variations of their characters
Yeah.
and things like that. Like if you go into a Hot Topic at the moment, they can have 50 Nightmare Before Christmas t-shirts.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But that was it. I like looked because I was like, like Zelda's one of my favorite series, and I was like, there's not really much here. They had like a
Yeah.
business tie. I got actually a glass that is got the fairies on, and it's like blue on the bottom, so it looks like the fairy
Ooh.
fountain. That's
Yeah, that's
all I
cool.
got out of this. Like I would have got a cool Zelda shirt if they had it, but like they had two.
Hmm.
One of them was
Yeah.
just Tears of the Kingdom in Japanese, and I was like, not
Yeah,
not that
fine.
fussed about
Yeah.
that. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, no. Like overall, the Capcom store. The only Capcom game I really know that they had any presence of was Resident Evil,
Hmm.
and they had like little medical tins with like the pills in and stuff like that. That stuff was
Yeah.
cool. I don't know anything about anime, so the Jump Store went right over my head.
That's cool though. They have that for, I guess, for people who want it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get it.
yeah. And then the Pokemon store was like weird because we were like, oh, like when neither of us are big into Pokemon, but we're like, we'll check it out. But the entire
Hmm.
store there was like designed for create your own T-shirts.
Hmm.
So they're like, oh, you can put like any of the 1,000 whatever Pokemon there are now on a shirt and like
Right.
design it yourself. And I was like, well, that's not really special at that point, is it? Like, if we could get a cool little
Hmm.
Pikachu shirt that says Tokyo or something like that, that'd be
Sure.
that you could only get there. That'd be a bit more unique or whatever.
Yeah. Hmm.
But yeah, no, the Nintendo store. I think we spent about $100 in there in the end. The good thing about if you're going
Yeah.
to Japan at the moment is everything is really cheap because of the exchange rate, how
Well,
strong the dollar is.
exactly.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, we did that. Then what was next? So then the day after, we went to the Kirby Cafe.
Ooh.
Never played a Kirby game in my life.
Yeah, I've played like a couple. It's not like my top franchise by any means.
Yeah, I used to play as him as Smash Bros because he just used to fly back onto the platform.
That's true.
He's the
That's
hardest
true.
one to knock off. But the Kirby
That's
Cafe
funny.
was really fun. Really,
Okay.
really fun. As I said, never played a Kirby game, but it was just like really well themed. You had like that big
Hmm.
tree that blows him like in the middle of the
Yeah.
thing. Really cute decorations. And tell you what, like the food was pretty decent as well.
Good.
Yeah. That was probably the best food in any of the cafes, like themed cafes that we did. I would definitely
Yeah,
recommend
because
it.
usually, like this stigma with a lot of those themed cafes in Japan is that a lot of people will go to them because it's a cool design or they'll have cool like exclusive merch.
Yeah.
But then a lot of the times the food will sort of be like a secondary thing of like, well, it's not the best. But on occasion though, you'll get some that like do a really good job. It sounds like maybe with the Kirby one, they
Yeah.
did a good job. So
Yeah.
that's
No,
nice.
that it was even if you're like I always say like I'm anime adjacent, where I like stuff that's like. But if you're into video games in any way and you kind of know what Kirby is, like I'd say give it a go, like for sure.
Yeah.
And I've heard people say like the theme cafes are really expensive, but used to the prices I'm used to in America, it was pretty cheap still.
Yeah,
You know.
that's a good point.
But then the day after
Nice.
that, I did my pilgrimage, and I went to the Square Enix offices.
The Holy Land.
Legit, I could see Square Enix's offices from my hotel window.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, because I was like looking on my phone out the window, trying to figure out what landmarks like were out there.
Mm,
So I'm like
Yeah.
looking at Google Maps, sort of scrolling out, and I'm like looking at the buildings, trying to figure out where
hmm
everything is, because my wife was taking forever to get ready, and I didn't have much else to do. And I was like, I saw this building, and I was trying to figure out what it was, and I clicked on Google Maps, and it was the Square
uh-huh.
Enix building because it was a bit uniquely designed. And I was
But
like,
like their literal headquarters
yeah,
of their operations,
yeah.
not like a merchandise store or something like
So
that.
they have a merchandise store and a cafe outside of it.
Oh, okay,
Right.
got it.
But that was it. So I went over, like, we went over there and we ate at the cafe. And I think I might have put a photo in our Discord or whatever of,
Sure.
like, their room that they sell, like, their high end merchant. And it's like
Yeah, yeah.
a big crystal fountain, and they've got materia there, and it's really, really cool themed. And
hmm
I bought this while I was there.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
yeah, it's a cloud figurine.
Nice. That company, oh, what's the company that makes it? Is it not Figma or what's Figure Arts or something like that? I can't
I don't
remember.
know. It says Play Arts.
Or Play Arts, yeah. If it's the brand I'm thinking of, they're known for doing a lot of like really high quality, like nice figures and stuff like that. Like not just Final Fantasy, but all kinds of stuff too.
Well,
So,
I'm not
yeah.
into figures normally or anything like that, but I named my dog Cloud and stuff like that. So I was like, it'd be a fun thing, and it's something you can put on the side to say we went there, you know.
Yeah, of course.
And I also got a Chocobo, like whiskey glass.
Nice.
They also had one
Nice.
that was like a Dragon Quest slime. I don't know
hmm
how familiar you are with Dragon Quest, but
Barely,
yeah,
but I know what you're talking about
yeah.
though. Yeah.
And it's one of those ones that if you like knock it, like rocks back and stays upright, like those clowns you
Okay.
can punch.
Well, do you ever remember when there was a Dragon Quest that came out years ago, and you could get the special edition that came with a slime controller? Like it was
Yeah,
shaped like a slime, and it's like, how the fuck do you use this thing? Like, what is
you
this?
don't use it. You pay a lot of
Yeah,
money for it,
exactly.
and you don't use it. But no,
But
so
yeah, that's funny.
we ate there. I asked if they had the cloud figurine, and the lady didn't speak English, so she like pulled
Naturally,
her
yeah.
phone out and started like talking into it for me. And she was
hmm
like, "Oh, like I'll have to go to the warehouse." And I'm thinking like, I didn't see a warehouse outside."
Yeah, where?
But then you realise when you try and translate for people, like it comes across broken a lot of the time.
Sure,
So I'm sure she means like the like warehouse in the back or something like that.
like the storage room or
Yeah, yeah.
something. Yeah.
So we ate, and then we were halfway through our meal, and she brought it out and like put it on the table for us.
Just comes out on a forklift.
Yeah,
Just poof.
yeah, this big old box. She's like, I was like, thank you very much. She was very nice though, very nice lady.
Yeah.
And
hmm
but the food we had there was pretty good. It's like more sweet stuff. So it's called the Artnia Cafe,
Okay.
and it's all Square Enix themed. So like,
hmm
my wife got a latte, and it had like the foam art was like a chocobo. Because they
Yeah.
said to her like, would you prefer Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest? And she was like, Final Fantasy, and that's it.
hmm
Apparently, it come out with a slime on it if you get the.
hmm
It comes out in a slime shaped mug as well. Apparently,
I was really hoping they would do a picture of Aerith with a sword going through, just right on the coffee. Here you go.
no, that's the strawberry pancakes. It's just blood coming out.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
there's a toothpick going through to like
yeah.
hold them still.
No, so I had the chocobo pancakes, which was chocolate.
Ooh,
I think she had the Moogle ones, which was strawberry.
nice,
They
nice.
had like, but that Auntie Cafe is more like a place for sweets and stuff because it's like
Sure.
pancakes, parfaits, things like that.
hmm
That was really good though, and it was also just cool. Even though the building, like, it's not like I could look through the window and see they were like working on Final Fantasy VII remake or anything.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's the cafe, and then you have the Yoshi P is like in the background,
Yeah,
like doing program.
yeah, just look through the window and just see them.
Well, it's like, have you ever been to one of those restaurants where you can see them making the food like through the window?
Yeah,
It's like they're still there program.
I always feel bad because they're just like none of them are talking to each other because they're on like a show essentially.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if you've ever been in a kitchen that's in the back, it's just like Gordon Ramsay cursing at everyone and like yelling over the food.
It's fucking raw.
Yeah. But no,
that's funny.
I'll tell you what was just the coolest about the Artnia Cafe was it's a series I love, Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
There is no representation of that in either the UK or America where I've lived.
Sure.
I have only ever experienced that game or series through video games. So it is nice to see it represented. And that's the thing I think is interesting about Japan just all over, is the fact that you see this hobby you're into just represented in so many places that you don't see it in the Western world.
Yeah, they love to do collaborations with other companies, as like companies like to collaborate with each other to do like limited versions of things. Obviously there's things like cafes, but like they even go as crazy as there's bullet trains that are themed to the Evangelion mechs. It's like insanity.
Yeah, whereas here, like, that's not going to happen.
No, fuck.
Closest you're going to get is like an ad for a show on the side of a bus.
Yeah, like could you imagine a semi-truck themed like Final Fantasy or something?
No, it don't happen here, and that's it. It's like you don't really get like entire restaurants themed to something.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure you can go to New Mexico now and get like Gus's chicken or whatever, but like,
right.
You know.
Yeah, but like I think I may have mentioned this before. One of the times I went to Japan, I even went to an Alice in Wonderland themed cafe as well, and it's like it's just amazing. You can see that kind of stuff, and there's care put into it, and like they have fun with it. Like it's just. Yeah, like they want to like showcase their love for it, and it's not just always this soulless property. I mean, obviously there's money to be made; it's a business, but like there's still people who want to give people that kind of experience, which is cool.
Yeah, yeah. Now, if you're into Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest, I would definitely suggest Artnia Cafe, but maybe not like as a full meal, more as like a snack or sweet. Or
yeah, of course.
Like that. I was also that day going to go to the bar from Lost in Translation.
Oh yeah,
I love that movie, but it was like, I think it was like $25 or $50 per person just to get in.
Yeah,
I was like, no, screw that. But like, I would happily spend $200-300 like dollars in your establishment, but give me something on my money return, not just to get. But I imagine it's because they just get loads of people going in for photos and stuff like that.
Probably they got to control it. Yeah, and I will say some bars and izakayas in Japan do have like cover charges that are like a couple bucks, but even then they'll usually give you like a small snack to say like, okay, we're still going to give you something. But if there's just a cover charge just to get in and that's it, like yeah, that's annoying.
And then the day after we went to Akihabara.
Oh, the true pilgrimage.
Yes. But, you know, we had lunch that day at the, not just Final Fantasy Cafe, the cafe themed to Final Fantasy 14.
Specifically.
Yes. And I don't think I've ever been more confused in my life.
Why?
So we go in, right, we sit down. Very nice. They gave us like an English menu. And they explain like you order on an iPad. They're like, so look at this. This will have the photos. Tell you what's in each dish, like you know. And then because the iPad was in Japanese,
sure.
So we're like, okay, we're working it out. Not been sat for 5 minutes, right? And the theme from the Golden Saucer starts playing. I know you're not that familiar with Final Fantasy, but it's like the carnival type music.
Like, from 7 though.
Yeah, but it's also in 14 as well.
Okay, got it.
Service the game, right?
Yeah,
and
got it.
It is blaring in this restaurant, and someone's on a microphone just talking away, right? We have no idea what's going on. Like, you know, like when you're at like a party and the DJ has like a microphone and you can't really understand them. Also, they're speaking Japanese, so I can't understand them anyway.
Right.
Yeah. They'd be like, and boom, and everyone starts clapping, and I'm like, what's going on?
Of course, you're like, what the fuck's going on?
Right, and they're like, and then starts talking again, like that sort of yelling too loud into a microphone.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 and they all stop. Boom. Everyone starts clapping again. And we're like, what's going on? What is going on? Right? And then I'm
Are you
looking
wait,
around.
really quick? Are you the only foreigners in the
I
restaurant?
think so. There weren't really other people, right?
Okay.
And
All
then
right. I was because usually what happens in these situations is you'll try and lock eyes with another
yeah,
foreigner, and you're like, like, is it just us? Like, what's going on
but this
here?
is it as well. So I'm looking around, right, and I'm sort of seeing that people are like looking at this person with the microphone, and then when he says stuff, they're all looking in different directions. So I'm like,
Okay.
so what are we meant to be looking at, right? And then does it
Mhm.
again, right? Last time, da 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 da. Boom! Everyone's big clap, right? And it was the
Yeah.
table next to us that everyone's staring at. And it was these two
Huh.
ladies. So they come over and they start talking to these ladies. I'm like, what is going on? Right? Anyway,
Uh-huh.
we carry on. We're ordering our food or whatever. Firstly, all the drinks look alcoholic. We ordered them. Turned out they weren't.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that looks like a fun cocktail. Like, it's the Crystal Tower and it's got like big blue, like jellied stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, order that. And we get it and it's just sodas. And we're like, oh, we thought it was like going to be like because it said it had like blue curacao in it and stuff. But
Sure.
it was like the non-alcoholic version. So we were like,
Mm-hmm.
oh. And
Fuck.
every time we ordered one, they came with a dish or a drink. They came with a coaster. So I've got
Okay.
like 10 coasters, like for
To keep.
Yeah. Like
Mhm.
they got different characters on them, different classes, things like that, right? I'm like,
Wow.
okay.
Cool.
And then we got two of the same coaster, and there was this thing that like said either on the iPad or the little English menu, it was like, oh, feel free to walk around the tables and trade your coasters with other people.
Okay.
And I'm like, why am I going to walk up to other people? Like,
You're just a random person eating?
But I got-
Give me your coaster.
but I got two. We got two of the same, and
Uh-huh.
these two ladies that were next to us were like really invested in the coasters. Every time they ordered a thing, you could tell they were like really excited to see what.
Yeah.
So I just sort of said to them like, oh, I put it on my Google Translate. I was like, we got a double. Would you like it? She's
Yeah.
like, oh, pulls out her bag, and she legit had like 20 coasters in. I'm like, you could tell they come to this place all the time to just try and collect them.
Yeah.
And they're like going
Uh-huh.
through and like offering us. I'm like, no, it's fine. Like you don't have. They're like, no. I'm like, oh, okay. So like took another one. I was like, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And then the lady that I said earlier when they were doing the announcement on the other side,
Uh-huh.
they then like towards the end of the meal started playing music again.
Uh-huh.
They brought out a dessert. So it turns out these people were winning stuff. It was like a lottery.
Oh.
Right? And she won
Okay.
first place, right? They pick a random table and you win. They can't. Everyone's like clapping. These people coming out with this plate. I don't see until they put it down. It was half a loaf of bread, like hollowed
Okay.
out, scoops of ice cream in it. This thing legit looked like it was going to serve 6 people.
Yeah.
And
okay, that's an interesting way to serve it.
Yeah, but it had like the cactuar like in it and things like that, right? And
Yeah.
these poor little ladies, like I'm like they've got no hope finishing that. And I'm saying to my wife, like, should I offer to help them? And she's like, no, shut up.
Just start digging in with them.
Just come over with a spoon and be like, let's demolish this thing.
Ladies, let me handle this.
And God bless. I think they took more photos than they did bites of that thing. But like,
Probably, yeah. Clearly, they're there for the merch and the all that stuff.
Yeah,
but that's funny.
Yeah. No, so that was really, and then we left, right? And they said like, okay, all these places, they're like, you have an hour and a half,
Sure.
and then you're out. Like they're quite like, they're like, if you want to order anything, you have to do it half an hour before your out time.
Got it. Okay.
So they gave us a receipt, and they're like, go to the front and like pay there. So go out.
Yeah.
And give it to the guy at the desk, and the guy's like, oh, like 7. And I don't know whether it's like 7 drinks or whatever we ordered. I was like, oh yeah, okay. And he goes, right. And he goes, right. Pulls out a sheet of paper. It has A or B, and there was like 5 characters in A and B.
Okay.
And I'm like, huh? And he's like, A, B. And I'm like, B.
Okay.
Okay. So he pulls out some cards, starts shuffling them.
What the fuck? It's a magic show.
And then he's like, pick one. And I'm like,
Mhm.
there. Okay. And he's like,
Okay.
and it starts clapping. Pulls out like a little acrylic stand and like gives it to me. I'm like, how did I win this? I don't know what I've done.
Well, I mean, you're going back. Okay, you got to go back and remember the Shenmue days when you go to the convenience store and you pick a raffle and you win a prize, right? That's what happened.
Yeah, but I'm just like, I'm very polite about it. I'm like, thank you. But like, we're leaving. I said to my wife, I'm like, I have no idea what I did.
What did I do to deserve this?
Yeah, but also it's like, what if I'd said A? What if I'd picked the card to the left?
Well, that's a different destiny.
Am I walking out with like a PlayStation 5? Like,
this is a high stakes game, man. It could have been anything.
No, but it was fun. But like, that was probably one of the most jarring, like, where am I sort of things.
How did I get in this situation?
Yeah. Just when you don't know the language as well, like, you just got to go with it.
Yeah, I mean, and a place like that too, where they're generally very polite to begin with, and like it's a safe place. Like you're really, for the most part, not going to have a bad time in situations like that if you just kind of accept it and go with it, and you more often than not, like you'll enjoy it and it'll be good.
Yeah, I was actually shocked how many people seem to just like, especially like there when we were doing like the games and stuff, just talking to us in Japanese, and like I'm looking at, I'm like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, like, sorry, sumimasen.
And they would just carry on as if, like, and don't get me wrong, I'm sure plenty of Westerners do it to people that don't speak English. Just keep repeating stuff. I'm like, I'm so confused.
Yeah.
But after that, we ventured into Akihabara. And I was just like, if anything catches our eye, let's go in. The first store I came across was a doll shop.
Okay.
Now,
wait, what kind of doll shop?
Now, this is the thing: was on the lower level, it wasn't a doll shop; it was electronics. We went up a floor, and suddenly we were in like a doll shop, right?
Sure.
Firstly, the thing that concerned me, these dolls were like the size of a 6-year-old.
Yep.
The second thing that concerned me was most of the costumes were school outfits.
Yep.
The third thing that concerned me was there was only middle-aged men shopping in this.
Yep, checks out. You've checked all the boxes so far. Yep.
Yeah, and like I did in many stores, me and my wife looked at each other and said, I don't think there's anything here for us, and we left.
Well, I think I'm sure I've told you the story, and for Akihabara, I don't know if it's one store or many, or if it's even still there, but it was a somewhat similar situation where I went to the store, first floor, kind of like at least for people in America, there's a store called Spencer's, which is kind of like a Hot Topic-ish, but they also have like kind of sexy, goofy gifts or whatever.
I went in there for the first time about a month or two ago and didn't know about the sexy side.
Yeah, that's like the whole back half of the store. That's like a staple of theirs. So there was this shop in Japan where, like in Akihabara specifically, where the first floor was that, but it was a 6th-floor shop. And I'm like, oh, well, what else is there? And each floor got progressively more into the pornography, sex dolls, like it's grotesque shit you would never want to see in your life. And I was like, well, I guess I'm here. I might as well walk through it.
Well, the thing, Don Quixote, we went in. And they have a whole section, and it's one of those things where you're like, oh, looking at the clothes or whatever, and then you just realize you're in that section.
Right.
But the thing that concerned me was, I said to my wife, I was like, there is literally like the Totoro from My Neighbor Totoro toy plush section next to that vibrator.
But was it Totoro themed?
Right, but like if you're there with your kids looking at the Studio Ghibli stuff, they literally have to step left, and suddenly they're in a different world entirely.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm assuming at some point you must have stepped into a convenience store, hopefully. But with their magazines, it's the same thing. Like, they'll have, like, the car magazines, the bodybuilding, and then just porn, or at least softcore porn, just, like, right there. It's not hidden. It's, like, right there, right next to the other magazines.
Yeah, and you know what's annoying is? They tape it shut.
Let me at least look at it first to understand the reading material.
No, I was the wife was looking for saying, and I looked at the magazines because I was like, I've never actually seen a Famitsu magazine before.
Yeah.
So I went to pick up the Famitsu magazine, and I realized they actually like tape it shut there, like the magazines. I was like, oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
And then I saw the pornography next to it, and I was like,
Yeah.
I understand that being taped. I was like,
you were reaching for the Famitsu,
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I get wink, wink.
Yeah,
I get it.
But Akihabara, that was it. I found most of the shops were like electronics, first, second floor, and then it was like, you want to see the bad stuff? It's like upstairs.
They know their audience.
I went to Super Potato.
Nice.
That was an experience. It's awesome. I didn't buy anything, but if you go, that is somewhere you should definitely check out. I've seen, I saw loads of things before and after I went out there about how it's like really overpriced compared to other places because they know they're a bit of a tourist trap. But it's a really, really cool experience. Just the CRTs playing old games and stuff like that. The issue was, go on.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say the issue was we were just looking for stuff like my father-in-law like loves the Zelda games. So like, oh, maybe we could get him like the old cartridge because like the stuff there is crazy cheap. Like, of course, I saw Final Fantasy VI on the SNES for $6.
Yep.
Whereas here you're talking hundreds just for the cover.
Yeah, it's insane. And I'm sure it was in like immaculate condition.
Yeah, and it just makes it annoying that stuff's only in Japanese.
Right.
Because how much would you just love to go spend like $300 and just have a copy of every game you could ever want?
Yeah, I mean, anytime I've gone to Japan, whether it's Akihabara or other game shops, that's always the struggle. Is like, I do end up usually getting something, or at least a collection of small things, but some of it is like, just to collect. Others, I'm like, man, I wish I could play it. That's always the struggle. And then they have stacks and stacks of systems too that are like also immaculate condition. Yeah, that's the struggle every single time. But yeah, there's a similar store to it. I think I may have mentioned it to you, but it's a series of stores called Book Off, and another unfortunate. Okay, yeah, and then there's the other unfortunately named one, Hard Off, which they really need to have a better name.
That's a great name.
Yeah, they're both related, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Hard Off might have like maybe more books as opposed to games or something. Or the other way around. I can't remember, but I don't know why they called it Hard Off.
Yeah,
it's just not a great
same thing though. We like went in Book Off, and like my wife loves Animal Crossing and found a copy for the N64 for like $12, right?
Yeah.
She's like, oh, that's so cool. I was like, yeah, but we can't do anything with it. Can't play it.
I mean, you could try. It probably won't go well.
No,
you could try.
But like, it's fun. You just want it to be like, just even if there was a way to just switch the language to like English or something.
Yeah,
it'd just be awesome. But no, you can't. But then that night, I believe we went to probably one of the coolest experiences I had in Tokyo. It's a restaurant called Dawn. And all the servers are robots.
Oh yeah, I remember you were telling me. Yeah,
but they are all powered by people and controlled by people who have disabilities and can't leave their house. Like the lady who served us, very, very nice lady. She actually, it said on her little profile, like on the iPad screen on the table, that she'd studied in England and South Africa, so she spoke great English. And she suffered from ASL.
Wow.
Because she mentioned at some point like that she's not able to smile or something like that. But she was telling us about her 2 children, how she can see Mount Fuji from her house. Because she said as well, these people are all over Japan as well as all over the world. They were like, they have people working there who are working from Australia and Italy.
Whoa! Damn.
Yeah.
So do they like actually? Obviously, they're serving you and like bringing stuff
Hmm.
to your table or whatever. But do they also just stay around to like have conversation with
Yeah.
you in general?
So
Or
the
okay.
lady, so you have these mini robots on the table that is
Hmm.
your server with like a little iPad screen, but then you also have these like
Hmm.
robots that are going around with like drinks on their trays. Like, I'm sure
Oh,
you've been to
okay.
those like sushi restaurants and stuff that have like,
Yeah.
but they're actually controlled by people. And then there's like two or
Wow.
three people that are just like walking around the restaurant that are obviously like making sure of it, putting the drinks on the robot, things like that.
Sure. Sure.
Um, but this it is like I legit like was just recording the restaurant,
Hmm.
and this robot went past who was serving another table, and he just started talking to me and saying, "Hello, how are you? Like, do you want a photo?" Like,
That's awesome.
yeah, and like when we got up to leave, we were like, I think it was like the last orders or whatever. We were the last people in there, and we are getting out to
Yeah.
leave, and this guy just came up to me and went, "Come with me." And like,
Oh God.
so I'm following him, and my wife's like going to pay him, like going, "Where you going?" And
Uh
he started talking to one of the human ladies that were there in
huh.
Japanese, and she was like, "Oh, he wants a photo with you." So I like
That's
gave him my
awesome.
phone. So that's it. It's like me, my wife, and like these two like robots, and you can see like their faces on the screen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was just like a really awesome like experience. Just
That's very unique. You will not get that anywhere else.
no, but you know what? As well, it's just it's not. I've seen like posts about it where people are like, "Oh, it's so dystopian that people, even though they're disabled, are still forced to work and stuff." And I'm
Hmm.
like, I'm sure they still get like help elsewhere, but it also is nice for people to do.
Yeah, a lot of people, regardless of your physical or potentially mental ailments, people still want to be fulfilled and like have a purpose and help people. Like
Yeah.
it's if anything, it's kind of weird to say that they shouldn't because then you're making them to be like too different or less than. It's like no, they want to help
And
people.
you know what? I got more out of the experience of talking to that lady, and she told me about the history of like the robots, about her hometown, than I would out of, when you go to the sushi restaurants and the robot just comes up with your drink and is like, thank you, and just like rolls off.
Right, right,
Like she was a lovely lady. The unique experience of just walking through the restaurant and that guy was like, come take a photo with us and stuff like that.
right.
And it was, and I can't believe that I mean, I think this restaurant's like only 2 years old, but
Uh
that's,
huh.
especially like in America, like how
Sure.
you wouldn't be able to have something like that.
Yeah, I feel like it would get a lot more shit for some reason, or it would be like regulated into oblivion where it probably wouldn't have that charm or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, but I would just think there's people all over the world that like would benefit from something like that as well.
Yeah, of
And I
course.
think people would want to go just for the uniqueness of it.
Yeah, of course. And just in terms of the actual technology itself, I mean, was it like pretty seamless? Like, was it like buggy or laggy or anything like
No,
that? Or no, it was all good.
she said like, oh, there was like a little Bluetooth speaker. Um, there was a little Bluetooth speaker, and she was like, if I'm too quiet, you can turn me up, or if I'm too loud, you can turn me down.
Sure.
That was it. Like she was like, yeah, like you can
Hmm.
do that. Or I think there was a few times where like same as we do here, you sort of talk over each other by accident.
Yeah, of
Like
course.
but yeah, it was all absolutely seamless. Yeah. I think we didn't get
Nice.
our drink or something, and she was like, "Oh, let me look into that." And then the robot went in a sleeping position, and then like the
Hmm.
robot came with the drinks.
Nice.
It was
That's really cool.
no. I if you're going like that is obvious. That is probably one of my top ones. Like I mean, obviously there's the stuff people are really going for, but that's gonna be one of the things I'm gonna be like, if people are going, and I'm like, do that. That was so cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, next time I go to Japan, I'll definitely be doing that. I
Mhm.
mean, that sounds amazing. It just seems like a cool experience. So, yeah, absolutely. Um, One quick question about restaurants in general. I'm assuming you saw this. What did you experience and or use at most restaurant tables a button to call the server?
No, I didn't have that once.
Really?
No,
Okay, wow.
because we didn't know. because that was something we were trying to figure out nearly every restaurant we went to, because sometimes they just came to our table and greeted us and took our order, and other times we sort of had to like look and lock eyes, and then they'd come over.
Okay.
And we're like looking at other tables, and we're like, are we meant to wave? Because we read that as well, like that you have to like put your hand up when you're ready to order, but then other places who were just coming up to us, I don't know if they knew we were like Western, so like we'd just sit there waiting or whatever. But no, we didn't have a button anywhere. No.
Okay, I mean, granted, maybe it's just certain restaurants too, but like that is, I will say, the nice thing about Japan as well with restaurants is they are a little bit more direct. Like I know in America, there's like this, and I guess other parts of the world as well, there's that weird situation of like, yeah, you're trying to get a waiter and you kind of do that half-ass, like sorry, you know what I mean? It's super awkward. In Japan, they either literally just have a button to like bring someone, like a doorbell button, or you know, like if you literally just raise your hand, like it's a joke in anime, and just to go sumimasen, like literally just say it, and they'll come right over. Like that's not an offensive thing to do.
There's a few places actually where they gave us QR codes, and like we ordered on our phone.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's kind of replaced the button from maybe when you last went after COVID.
Could be. Yeah, I mean, I haven't been there. Fuck, when's the last time I went there? I think it was 2016, 2017. So it's been a while since I've been there,
here,
to be honest.
Like, how many restaurants now have gone to like ordering on phone or menu on your phone, things like that.
Oh, did you see any like vending machine ticket systems to where you put like you get the ticket for what you want?
Yeah, we didn't go to any of those other than like street food though, which I can get to later.
Yeah, for sure. But no, either way though, it's fun. Like restaurant culture there in general is just interesting. It's different. There's no tipping either. It's just a very different experience.
That's the most shocking thing.
Right. Wow. Who would have thought people can be happy at their jobs, or at the very least they're portraying it?
Yeah. That was the thing I always used to comment. It's like, how is everyone here so happy doing what they're doing? Like,
yeah.
Back home, like you just get people. You ready?
Yeah. If that.
We don't have Coke. We have Pepsi.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
That's great. But yeah, no, that restaurant does sound awesome. I will definitely be adding it to the list the next time I go, assuming it's still there. But was it pretty busy? Was there like a lot of people?
No, as
there,
I said, we were like the last people leaving for the night.
Oh, that's right.
So legit, when we got in, there was like 2 other tables, and then like we left, and that was it. I think you could tell they were closing up for the night.
Okay, and I guess I should ask. The food, I'm assuming, was good too.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't the best food, wasn't the worst food. It was very good, but that experience as a whole was like very, very fun. And it's actually saying as well, you pay for the full meal beforehand as well.
Oh, nice, cool.
So you just go in and they're like, just choose what you want. Like it's all paid for already.
Yeah.
And I think that's the help with the automatedness of when you leave, you leave.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so then the next day we went to Joypolis, which is the Sega Indoor Theme Park, which you said you have been to as well.
Yeah, a number of years ago, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it still feels like the 90s there, so it don't matter that you only went in like 2010.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I'm basically still up to speed with it too, especially when it comes to video games over there.
Yeah, and I said to you, I feel like Japan is still like it feels like a weird thing where the 90s carried on there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was describing to you, like my hotel had a smoking room sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And I just imagined how that would go down in America. Like the outrage about that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, especially when so many places have outlawed smoking indoors in restaurants. Like I still remember growing up going to restaurants where you could smoke, and it's so funny how times have changed. But yeah, I remember when last time I was there, someone asked me that for the first time, and I was like, "Wait a minute, this is still a thing? What do you mean?"
Well, like there's always that thing about like how mobile phones have now made writing movies harder. Because how many of the classic like 70s and 80s movies if everyone had smartphones?
Yeah, exactly.
Mrs. Doubtfire, a key scene in that is the fact that there is a smoking section and a non-smoking section in the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah.
There goes the reboot.
Yeah. How would you write Mrs. Doubtfire now?
It's literally impossible.
No, so we went to Joypolis, and if you get motion sick much, I would not go there.
Just in
Like,
general.
no, well, I know some people really struggle with like screen motion,
Yeah.
like rides and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And nearly all, like we played one. It was called Spicy Taxi, right?
What? Okay.
Yep. So it was like you're in like a tuk-tuk, like driving it, and you get quiz questions, and you have to hit buttons, and you're competing against the people in it. But it's like an actual platform that spins around as you're driving it.
Oh,
So,
okay.
like you go off ramps, and the thing like leans back and stuff like that, right? But that's
Okay,
it.
so really the mentality of Yu Suzuki's arcade games is still being pushed there, of like the immersion of like I mean, could you imagine playing that not Afterburner, that R type whatever it's where they're like spinning every which way around? Like I would vomit immediately.
I have never seen one in real life. I just always remember watching Terminator 2 when they're in the arcade and seeing it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Like, I want to play that. I want to play that.
Yeah.
And you never actually used to see it.
Yeah, I would immediately vomit, but like, what an experience.
You just know, like in America, a kid stuck their finger in it while it was spinning, and like the parents tried to sue or something.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. There was like a Sonic indoor coaster, which is also like a rhythm game as well. So like the thing, have you done that or
no?
No. So it was like the bar comes in, and you have like these 4 buttons in front of you on the bar. So on the parts where the coaster's going like slow, just on a straight line, a screen comes down in front of you, and it's like a DDR game.
All right, this sounds like
and then like the screen goes, and then you're like, when you go upside down and things like that.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. They had a Ace Attorney game.
What does that consist of?
Right. So we're walking around, and there's all these like little stations that have like Ace Attorney things, and I see people with like these little booklets, right? And they're like writing down clues. And I think what it is, like in Ace Attorney games, you go from scene to scene.
Okay.
I think it's you solve the case by going from screen to screen. And I'm like, walking around the actual Joypolis, and I'm like, oh, right, okay, cool. I love Ace Attorney. I want to do this. I go up to it, and the lady politely informs me it's Japanese only.
Yeah.
By the text, and I'm like, well, we can't do this.
Then. Yeah. Like, get the fuck out, foreigner.
Get out of here. Yeah. So I was like, okay, bye.
Yeah, that's always the struggle, obviously, when you go over there. I mean, there's certain things they can cater to, like at restaurants or signs, but when it comes to like video games, it does get a little more difficult. You would think, though, with the amount of tourism, they would start to get better about that with like arcade games, and maybe they will moving forward. But yeah, that's always the struggle.
Well, some arcade games, like when we were in Akihabara and we went in the arcade, some of the machines were in English.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Nice. Which was a bit strange. Like, I'm going to be honest. Like, I was like, what?
Yeah.
But then also in Joypolis, we played some pirate shooting game. Where like you'll sit on like cars with guns, and the screen comes up, and it's like a light gun shooter type thing, right? And they keep flashing up like at the end of the 8th section, who's winning, like who's got the top score.
Yeah.
And every single time my picture came up. And then they're all like complimenting me in Japanese, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
How did I get here? Where am I? Nice, good.
Yeah. So then, my wife, as I said, you get some people that feel a bit rough from all the motion and the screen rides. Yeah. My wife was starting to feel it a bit, so we got some food, and then I was like looking at the map, and I said, well, this says it's a walk-through attraction. It's Attack on Titan.
Ooh, okay.
And I'm like, I've never watched Attack on Titan. I know it's about some giants. That's about it, right?
Bunch of naked giants running around, eating people. It's great.
Well, we are in line, and we're just waiting, and like before you go on every ride, they show you a sheet of paper that is like no photography, or like, if you're pregnant, no drinking, no eating on the thing, and they're like, essentially they're like, do you agree to this? And,
yeah.
Okay. And then you have all the signs that are saying like warnings, right? and you get it on theme parks where it's like sudden drops, accelerating speeds, blah
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Because it was like very broken English. One of the warnings said appearance of grotesque face.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, like, I mean, the person might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I'm sure his mother loves him.
That's a bit harsh.
So we go in, and this lady, like, there's like 6 to 8 of us, and we're all standing in this room. And there's this lady in like a blazer, and she's just talking to us. And everyone's like, yep, doing hand signals, and we're like, what? Because it's Japanese, we have no idea what's going on.
Naturally.
And next room, we get in the next room, and it's like a lift. And we're like, boom, 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 boom. And something's happening on a screen. This big giant looks at us, and then like the lift falls. And we're like, oh okay.
Wow. Yeah,
we go in the next room. And there's like these two, like this guy like just jumps out and scares my wife.
Like in costume or something? Or?
Yeah. He's in like a blazer. He's like in a jail cell.
Oh, okay,
like,
got it.
And she's like, what the? Like, and then like he comes out, starts talking. We still have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, obviously.
As far as we were aware, a giant looked at us and our lift went down.
Yeah, this is all part of the anime, by the way.
Yeah, and we get into this room where the woman and the man are both talking on opposite ends of the room. And then they like start pointing at people, and the people go towards her. And then they point at us, and we're like,
yeah, what do you want from me?
and the guy literally just walks over to us and like shuffles us over to the lady. He's like, go with her.
Come with me if you want to live.
Yeah. And then we go in this room, and it's like there's this big screen, and it's like some anime character comes on, starts talking to us, and it goes all dark, and then this giant actual hand comes out. And my wife is scared at this point. She's got her eyes closed, and if she had opened them, there would have been like a giant's hand like that far from her face. And
okay, did you have any indication that this was going to be billed as some sort of like haunted attraction, scary attraction type of thing?
Well, I mean, they gave you like the warnings, grotesque face, but not being funny. You go on like a carousel, because of lawsuits these days, they're like, don't ride it if you got a heart condition.
Sure, exactly. Yeah.
Speed and things.
Well, but like what I mean by that is like, especially in Japan, and I'm sure you'll talk about this in a minute for like Universal or whatever. There's like it's Halloween. You're there during October, so there's like haunted attractions. But if this is just like a normal thing, it's just funny.
Yeah, well, this is it as well. I've heard of Attack on Titan. I didn't know that show's meant to be like kind of scary in any way or whatever.
But I mean, it's suspenseful, but it's by no means like a horror anime or anything like that. That just seems like a little over the top.
Because another thing they had a walkthrough experience for The Ring.
Okay.
Right. And I'm joking around with my wife who won't do anything. Like, oh, we should go in there or whatever. And she's like, no. And one of the warnings it gives you is there is a section where you will be stuffed in a locker.
Jesus Christ.
Right.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I'm guessing like, the ones where the little vent holes that you can look through, like something would happen or something. We didn't end up doing it because like she got out of the Attack on Titan one. She was like, I did not enjoy that. She was like, but also as well, I did enjoy it because like I knew it was a walkthrough experience, but I didn't realize how much of it was going to be standing in a room and someone just talks to you in Japanese. Which I don't know Attack on Titan. I've got friends who like that show. I'm sure they'll geek out at the scenes and stuff like that.
Right. Like I like the anime. I'm sure I would like it, but at the same time, to your point, if you don't understand what's going on, you're kind of just like awkwardly standing there.
But then we decided to leave Joypolis at a point, and on the way out, you leave by passing the Dippin' Dots stand, and there is a wall that they've put like a plain of like plastic glass over, because that part of the wall was signed by Michael Jackson.
What the fuck? I mean, I guess Joypolis has been there for quite some time.
Yeah, and it was like 99 or whatever, like he signed it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And like, well, it must have been earlier than that because in the photo next to it of him signing the wall, you could see Sega Saturn stuff in the background.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And
that's true.
but then next to it was the signature of NSYNC.
That's awesome. I love
And
how
then
they're still doing that.
Next to that was the signature of Leo, like
DiCaprio?
Leonardo DiCaprio, yeah, from like the 90s.
Man, they are hanging on to that. That's crazy.
But that was it. Is like none of the signatures were in the last 20 years.
Well, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
wait, what happened after that?
Yeah. So like no one's come since. Like what?
Yeah, no. It's just been a shithole.
But that was another thing where I'm like, they're really stuck in the 90s, aren't they? Okay.
Yeah.
But no, I enjoy Joy Bliss also isn't that expensive. I think it was like $60 for the two of us.
Okay.
Which I don't think that's that bad.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to spend like a whole day, kind of like a theme park-ish kind sort of thing, then yeah, why not? It's not too terrible.
I think we spent like 4 to 5 hours there.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. The next day we went to Yokohama.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
Right. And I yet again my video game instincts kicked in, and I was like, I know some of these places from Yakuza Like a Dragon, and
and Shenmue.
Yeah, well, we didn't go there. We didn't go that far.
Well, sure, but like Yokohama in general was like it was also an inspiration very much for that too. But yeah, I know what you mean though.
We passed a part in the park which I instantly recognized as where you fight that like circus bear. I don't know if you remember that part.
Vaguely,
the guy whose animals keep escaping.
This is great.
Yeah. And I like took a photo, and my wife was like, "Why are you just taking a photo of this like concrete stand?" I'm like, "I fought a bear there." Like,
you wouldn't get it. You don't understand.
But in Yokohama as well, I don't know if you know this, they have a life-size Gundam.
Yeah, it's massive. It's fucking huge.
Yeah.
I have not seen it in person, but yeah.
So the day we got there, we're walking along, and the big Ferris wheel, Cosmo World, is not operating. We're like, "What's going on?" And as we get closer, we realize it's closed for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, okay. And we like look on their website or whatever. Like we weren't that heartbroken. Like I don't think we would have even done the Ferris wheel, but it would have been cool to just like check it out. And we looked, and just for some reason, that random Tuesday they were closed.
Mm-hmm.
It weren't like a every Tuesday thing. And we're
that
okay.
Sucked.
We move on, start walking towards the Gundam, and as we're getting there, we can like sort of see it in the distance, and I'm like, I think the shutters are down. And we walk up to it, and apparently they're closed on Tuesdays.
Oh,
yeah.
That
we could
sucks.
see it from outside, but you couldn't go in and like see it from below, and it wasn't coming out the walk that day and stuff like that. So it was like but there was like an Oktoberfest thing there. We went to Chinatown, so we still had a good day.
Yeah, of course. That kind of sucks, though.
Yeah, it was the fact it was like two things. Because like if anyone's watching this looking for tips, don't go to Yokohama on a Tuesday.
That's so specific. I wonder why.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I've been to towns before where they're like, "Oh, we close on this day because like there's no tourists that come these days." Like there's places like near where New Yorkers go like on the weekend, so they close on a Tuesday.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and I think if I'm not mistaken, not too far down the street from the Gundam is the Instant Ramen Noodle Museum, if I recall correctly. So
guess what? Cup Noodle Museum. Guess what day they're closed?
Is it Tuesday?
It's Tuesdays.
Oh no!
As well.
Fuck.
But we did know that ahead of time because we went to book that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we were like, it's okay.
Yeah, that stinks.
Yeah. So the day after that, we went to the next geeky thing, I guess, would be the Pokemon Cafe. The food there wasn't that great.
Okay.
It was still fun. We got there, and like I know a lot of adults like Pokemon.
Sure.
You can tell that place is clearly catered to kids.
Yeah, makes sense.
And when you start feeling a bit weird that you're too adult at a place.
Start looking around a little bit.
I don't get me wrong, there were a lot of just adults there, but also I think it doesn't help that outside of like the original Pokemon, I've never really played any Pokemon or
Sure.
anything, so I don't know half of the stuff.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, like Pikachu come out and did a big dance.
Ooh.
That was fun. Like my wife just started cracking up because they're trying to build it up, but you could just see his ears behind like the wall he was hiking.
It's ruins the illusion for you a little bit.
Yeah. We came out in his chef outfit. Like I was more annoyed my food wasn't being worked on, that he was just dancing.
Yeah, Pikachu needs to be cooking the food. Get back.
Yeah. My food's not going to cook itself. Get back there. Messing about.
Nice. Yeah, good.
Yeah, I'm sure you would enjoy that place a lot more than we did if you are really into Pokemon. Don't get me wrong, it was still a fun time and everything.
Yeah, it's probably cool even just for like a one-time visit. Just like, okay, neat.
I think out of the themed cafes we did, it was probably the worst food though.
Yeah, that sucks.
Not that it was bad, it was just very like average.
Sure, yeah. I mean, once again, kind of to my comment last time, I think a lot of people go to these places more for the environment or the exclusive merch, and then like the food is it's kind of weird that it's an afterthought almost, but it is a cafe, so you would think they'd be able to make it a little bit better, but they also know people are just going to come no matter what.
I think they're also just popping out the food at such volume as well. There's just such cut and paste stuff.
Yeah.
You know. Day after that, though, we travelled to Osaka, and on the way there, we stopped in Nagoya and went to the Studio Ghibli Park.
Nice. Which, once again, is different than the Studio Museum. Yeah, which I've been to.
Yes, we went outside the museum because we didn't get tickets, and we went to a bakery nearby that does Studio Ghibli themed foods. And like walked through the park, and we walked past the museum, got some photos outside and stuff.
Sure.
Did the Eric Andre let me in?
It starts screaming.
Yeah. But so we went to the park, which opened, I think, last year, 2022.
Yeah, relatively, or at least the first phase of it, I guess.
So when I say this park's weird, I'm not saying it's bad, right? What I mean by weird is it's not like a regular theme park.
Okay.
So at the moment, there are 3 sections open. This park is not going to be done for like 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
Right. So like, there's the Ghibli Grand Warehouse. There's like an area themed to the Cat Returns and an area themed to My Neighbor Totoro. Right. But you have to buy a ticket for each area.
Yes.
So we could only get tickets for the Grand Warehouse. They're also opening a section based on Princess Mononoke soon. Okay. Like the village, and also like a witch's village. It's going to be based on Howl's Moving Castle and Kiki's Delivery Service, right?
Cool, yeah.
But that's what I mean by it's weird. Like, if you get a ticket for Universal or Disney, you're in the park. Whereas here, it's like you've got to buy one for each area. One day you might go and only get 2 out of 5.
Well, that's the thing, too. Like, on one hand, it's cool, so you can, like, if for some reason you don't want to explore all of them, but on the other hand, to your point, you might just show up and there's not enough available, which is, like, that seems very ridiculous. Like, I don't know if they're trying to control...
I would advise showing up, though, because, like, these tickets do sell out, like, the day they go on sale.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason why we couldn't get the other 2 sections, honestly, is because we kind of decided late into our planning that we were going to do it. So originally we weren't going to go, then we decided in. By the time we looked, the only thing that was available was the main section and not My Neighbor Totoro or the other thing.
Sure.
So we went in, and yet again, when I say it's a bit different, there's no rides. So when you think of theme parks, you think of rides. It is essentially immersing you in that world.
Sure.
That's what it's there to do. Like, the main thing everyone was queuing up for was just photo ops. There was like a half-hour line, and it would be like the bench from the train in Spirited Away.
Sure.
That you could sit on with no face, have a photo, move on to the next section. There's like a Porco Rosso thing where you can pretend to punch him.
I mean, like, that's cool in theory if the lines weren't terrible, but if you're waiting just for a photo op, like, eh. I don't know if I would
Yeah,
do that.
that's like the main thing. There's also they call it, because it's called the Grand Warehouse. There's like this section that's like a warehouse where they've just got all of these crazy models and stuff. So
Okay.
you walk through and it's like House Castle. There's like a big 15-foot model of it.
Oh, not to buy, but like just a view and like
Yeah,
look at.
just to
Oh, okay.
display. And I'm sure it's stuff they've used for press before or things
Yeah.
like that, and they've just put there, you know. So there's all
Yeah.
that stuff, like the cat bus and things like that.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then also there's like a cafeteria food, like a milk stand from one of their movies. I don't know what. I'm guessing it.
Milk stand.
Yeah, I think it's from the Cat Returns because they're like in little glass bottles and stuff.
I've
But it
seen
was
it, but
really
it's
good
been
milk.
so long. I mean, it's been up forever since I've seen that one. But all right, yeah, if it's good, why not?
Yeah, apparently like they get from local cows and stuff like that. So
Sure.
you could really taste the difference. And to be fair, with Japan in general with the food, you
Mm-hmm.
can taste the difference compared to here, where you get sushi and you can't taste the flavors that are in it. It's all
Mm-hmm.
just bland.
Yeah, now you've finally gotten the taste of the Japanese food because like I know it's like a bit of a trope. Just like a lot of people who either live there or travelers go there say, "Oh, the food's so much better," and it almost feels like they're exaggerating. But then you go there and you're like, "No, the food quality on the whole is quite a bit better." Like, yeah, you'll get some shit stuff every once in a while, like anywhere, but like
Yeah.
the base average is quite a bit higher. It's pretty good.
It's more you just taste the individual ingredients more.
Sure, sure.
You know, like when you cook at home and you start adding spices and you really taste the difference. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's like yeah. But yeah, Ghibli Park is more. It is more for I feel like the Japanese crowd than it is for the
Sure.
Western crowd. Because even when I went to other theme parks, you sort of notice well, just anywhere that was touristy,
Mm-hmm.
the Japanese culture, they love taking photos more than we do.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Don't get me wrong. If you're outside the White House, I'm sure that everyone's taking photos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But everywhere you go that's a tourist, right? It's insane how hard it is to navigate without getting in the way of people's photos.
Oh yeah, well there's that, and anytime, and maybe you saw this at some of the arcades or Joyplus, there's like the picture booths that people have,
Yeah,
that's still a popular thing. So yeah, photography and like those kinds of keepsakes, oh yeah, that's huge in Japan, for sure.
yeah. If you're a big photographer, Instagrammer, I feel like Ghibli Park's probably more for you.
Hmm.
Than just your average person who's probably thinking, "Oh, I'm going to go on the Totoro ride." Like that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But what we enjoyed, we couldn't go into the Totoro, so they've recreated the house that the girls live in that
Yeah.
movie. And apparently, you can legit go in, open the drawers, and there's documents their dads are working on that you can go
Hmm.
through. It's that level of detail. Whereas a model house here, it's just you can't open the drawer.
Well, that's the thing. Even in the museum that they have outside of Tokyo, it's still a little bit more. They're careful about what they want people to touch versus not. But it's an interactive museum, effectively, that you're walking through, and you can see cool, detailed stuff. And that place is also a very picturesque, photo op type of place as well. And it's cool. I will say, even if the theme or the park isn't quite up to what you're thinking, I would still recommend people to check out the museum once again if you can get tickets in advance because it is a really cool experience as well.
Well, you really want to go to if you really want to go to the park, that's when I'd say go. But if you're
Hmm.
umming and ahhing about it, maybe not if it's not on your way to Osaka.
Sure.
Because if you're in Tokyo, you really have to go out of your way.
Yeah.
We stopped in Nagoya station, and it was an hour from Nagoya station and an hour back, and then we
Yeah.
carried on to Osaka. So it is very out of the way in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Makes
Right.
sense.
But overall, we enjoyed it.
Hmm.
We had a lot of fun there. I just would advise if anyone is going to go there to look it up, not
Yeah.
expecting a regular theme park.
Well, yeah, that too, and then even more broadly than that, just reservations and ticketing as a whole in
Hmm.
Japan is kind of that way in general.
Never
Like if you
turn up anywhere without a ticket. Yeah.
Exactly. And what the thing that sucks is in some cases, like for example, the Ghibli Museum, you have to buy tickets in advance online, like if you're coming from overseas, months and months in advance. Like you can't turn up to the park and even buy a ticket there. They literally will not let you. So if you're thinking any attraction you're going to go to might fall into that bucket, just kind of look it up in advance.
Well, what we did was we made a list of everything we wanted to do that required a
Mhm.
reservation. Went on each website, looked
Yeah.
at when's the earliest you can make an appointment, like a ticket or a reservation for
Right.
any of it, and we just made a calendar.
Yep.
Right, August 31st at 11 p.m. We have to be on this website to do this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that way, the only thing we missed out on was the Ghibli Museum that we really wanted to do. I know
Sure.
like the Cup Noodles Museum was just not open the day we were going there and things like that. But that way we knew.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then we went to Osaka, and I feel like this is a tease. We've been teasing people with this.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo World.
Yes, yes.
Nintendo World. But there is also something else at Universal Studios Orlando, Japan. Wrong place. Universal Studios Japan.
Mm-hmm.
It is the Resident Evil Halloween Horror Nights house.
And this is what I'm looking forward to.
Right.
All right.
So you can go one of two ways: Claire route or Leon route.
Okay.
Yeah. So Halloween Horror Nights is different here in America, where you have to like buy a ticket, and it's after the park technically closes, and they reopen it for Halloween Horror Nights until like 2 a.m.
Sure.
Whereas in Japan, it's free if you've just got a ticket. The park still closes at 9 p.m. like it does normally. Yeah. The houses are open all day from 9 a.m.
Cool. All right.
So you can do it whenever, right? You get like the people who come out and like scare you in the streets. That happens after dark.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're not there all day, but people with the chainsaws and stuff. So the Resident Evil house is apparently the more in demand one, so you have to like go on your phone and like reserve a time slot to come back, which I'm fine with because then you're not wasting an hour in the line.
Yeah.
Waiting for that when you can go do other stuff, right?
Sure.
So we chose the Leon route just because the time made more sense for us.
Okay.
It was like 7 p.m. and I was like, yeah, that's better than doing it in like 2 p.m. because we were going to the Nintendo Land at that point.
Okay.
So we went in and they were like, right, you got to get in the groups of 8. Okay. Because we've done I've told you about the haunted houses at Halloween Horror Nights before, and if not, watch the Last of Us house review that I did recently, where you just go through in a conga line essentially, and people jump out and go back, right? We went in the room, and a lady's in like a raccoon police uniform, talking to us, yet again in Japanese. I have no idea what's going on. But like the doors around us, there's legit people's fingers coming through the doors that are like barrier. And we're like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. And we go into the, like, she's like, come on, let's go. So we go and we're going down this hallway. And my wife was at the end. I was like second to last. And a zombie burst out of the door behind us. Yeah. And started chasing her down the hallway.
Oh, fuck that.
Because, as I said, we're used to, boo, go back. No, he didn't like touch us or anything like that.
No, but it's still startling.
She was expected that literally until you get into the next room and the people shut the door, this person's just going to keep screaming at you until you get in.
Okay, and so since you said it's a group of 8, I'm assuming there's not like another group right behind you trying to push you forward. There's a bit of a break, I'm assuming.
No, exactly. So I feel like that person's like chasing you up, gets back in his thing for the next group. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Nice.
But that's it. So she's like shaken, my wife. She was not expecting that at all. And then we're getting through this like sort of hallway where there's like a glass window. Glass is like glass noise is smashing, and like Mr. X walks past.
Oh my god, that's incredible!
Yeah. And she's like almost in tears, and I'm like singing "X gonna give it to you" to myself.
This sounds great. Oh my god.
So then we go into this room, right? And it's like a security room. There's like screens on the wall that are like playing. I'm guessing it's clips from the game because it's like hallways with zombies attacking people.
Yeah.
And this lady who was guiding us is like talking to us in Japanese again, and she points at like a safety deposit box on the table.
Okay.
And everyone's like crowded around it and looking. I'm like, I have no idea what we're meant to do because I don't know what the clue is or whatever.
Yeah.
Luckily, this one guy like stepped forward, pressed some buttons, and it opened.
Some hero, he gets it.
Yeah, and we got given like something. So I'm like, okay, like we solved the puzzle. We go into like the next room, same thing. You know those like things that like crawl on the floor and the ceiling in Resident Evil 2?
Yeah.
One of those burst out a door at my wife and was like going like that at her feet.
Okay, quick question: Are they only targeting your wife, or are they doing it to other people?
Yeah, because they know who to target. Yeah,
exactly. Because I used to be in a haunted house, and that was the tell. Because anytime you see someone coming and you get them the first time, you know the target, and then everyone collectively understands who they have to go after. That's just a rule of working in a haunted house.
Yep. So then, like it's on the floor to the point where people are having to like slide against the wall to get past it. Right.
That's incredible.
We get into this next room, and they're like, "Get a gun." So like we all go in, and there's like 8 guns set up, like light guns, like Uzis. So we pick them up, and then this big projector comes on, and it's the is it like Nemesis or whatever, is walking towards us. So you're all shooting, and you've got like you're getting like points or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Lights go off, complete blackness. The lights came on, and someone dressed as Nemesis was right in front of the screen.
Oh fucking hell! Oh my god!
So then we're like shooting at him, and then they're like, "Right, come on, into the next room." And it was that thing at the end of Resident Evil 2, that car that they go in.
Yeah.
Go out, and then it come out like clear, and then it gave us a ranking of B.
Ooh,
it was like,
nice.
You survived. Yeah, and then I haven't got it right here, but they gave us a little card that was like Leon Path clear, rank B.
That's incredible. So, like, how long was the entire experience, would you say?
Probably just over 5 minutes.
Okay. I mean, that's still a good...
always feel longer when you're doing them, I feel like.
Sure.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you're essentially walking down 3 or 4 hallways, and then there's 2 rooms that you interact with.
But, okay, and I think we've talked about this before. I've had an experience when I was down, or when I was out in California at Disney, rather, and they had the Void, like VR kind of, like immersive VR experience. Like, have you ever done that before or no?
Yeah.
Okay, so like that one is very much, that's maybe about 15 to 20 minutes, and that's like, for people who don't know, it's like an actual, like, you're basically putting on a VR headset in a backpack with a computer, and you're actually interacting with a real environment that VR is sort of like superimposed onto, but it feels very, very real, and I'm wondering...
You pick up a gun, but you're picking up something off a wall for real.
Yeah, like an actual prop that you're picking up to use, which is awesome. And I'm wondering if that is going to be that next generation of like haunted house type of stuff, because it's kind of like what you just did, but maybe a little bit more, or like more interactive. Like, I wonder if it's going to keep going that route. But even what you just described sounds amazing, to be honest.
Yeah. So apparently they've done this house for like 5 years. And
Nice.
every year they've added like an element to it.
Okay.
Like, they never used to have the light gun part, you know, and they never used to have the puzzle. Like, you know, so they're sort of tweaking it, and they're like adding parts as they go, which kind of makes sense to do rather than just come out the gate, you know, balls out.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't have it just be a year-round thing. I mean, people love Resident Evil. Like, I mean, I know it's Halloween, horror, I get it, but it seems popular enough, I would imagine.
Yeah, I know at least here at the one in Orlando, a lot of the space they use for the lines and stuff like that are for other attractions that they use during the day and stuff like that. So it could be something as simple as that.
Yeah, could be.
Because this was right next door to the Spider-Man ride. So it might like steal some of their line or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but that sounds amazing though. I would absolutely love that.
Yeah. No, it was very fun. It's very different to the haunted houses we get here. It's
Hmm.
because this is like I described it to my friends as like an escape room mixed with
Mm.
a haunted house.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. Nice. Very cool.
But then, yeah, the other big thing was Nintendo World.
Yeah.
So you have to. We had to get a time to go in because it's so popular.
Hmm.
As we were outside, they had this little stand that give you like a power up band. I don't know if
Okay.
you've seen these before.
Yeah, where you like
If
hit the
any,
blocks and all that stuff, and
yeah. So
yeah.
it like records everything. So like I got a Mario one, my wife got a Toad one, and
Hmm.
you go on your app, you scan the band in, and it like tracks your progress around the
Okay.
land and gives you points. And it's like achievements essentially.
Okay.
Because like when we went on the Mario Kart ride, it was like, oh, you came in this place, so you get a stamp.
Okay.
You did this on the ride, you get a stamp. Like, so I think it's trying to encourage people to get, because I can look at my app now and it still tells me what I did. It's trying to encourage people to go back and back and back.
Yeah, yeah. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
collect your points. The first thing we did when we were there, we went on the Mario Kart ride,
Yep.
and I love Mario Kart. This is probably the thing I was most excited about.
Hmm.
The ride I want to do again. They are opening one here in Orlando.
Hmm.
It was a lot of fun. So you sit on a car, you have a steering wheel, right? And they give you like a Mario hat with like these AR glasses on.
Okay.
So as soon as you get in the ride and I put them on, when I looked down at the steering wheel, I
Hmm.
could see how many shells and coins I had through the AR glasses.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
the steering wheel has like little buttons on,
Hmm.
and when you're in the line, they're like, look where you want to shoot, and press the button.
Oh, I see. Got
Right.
it.
So and it takes a second to get used to because you naturally just want to like steer and shoot, but you've got
Yeah.
to like look and shoot that way.
Wow. So it's tracking it to that level. Interesting.
Yeah. So the issue I had was I don't think I put the headset on properly
Hmm.
because I had to be looking dead at something to see it, and I only like saw a very limited view right in front of me.
Oh, that stinks. Hmm.
So all around, so like everyone's like shooting to the left. I look to the left and then I see Bowser
Yeah.
in like AR, but I couldn't
Hmm.
see him before. So I'm just constantly looking around, trying to
Yeah.
pick up anything I can because I
Interesting.
can't see it coming in from the side. And I asked my wife afterwards. I said, like, did you have that issue? And she said no. So I don't know if it's like my eyes or my face are positioned like further away, or like my head's too big for the glasses, whatever. But I kind of want to do it again and like readjust it.
Well, yeah, what because if you've played VR, that's the biggest issue that people usually have, and like it's happened to me too. It's not just literally putting on the headset and you're good, but yeah, there's adjustments in terms of how it sits on your head and then the eye distance. Like there's a lot of manual adjustments you kind of have to make to get it
The,
perfect for you.
and the issue with a ride is by the time you've realised it's too late,
Yeah, exactly.
and I'm not going to queue up another 2 to 3 hours again just to give it another go.
And that ride is how long? Also, like a couple minutes or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's it. It's like you're like, oh, okay. And I kind of wish there was a room beforehand where you could just fiddle with it,
Yeah.
adjust it. They give you a practice room, but I'm trying to get used to the shooting thing.
Yeah.
I'm not fiddling with the headset because I've already done that before I get in the car because that's when they tell you to do it.
Right.
And I didn't really realize how big a problem it was until you're in the actual ride properly.
Yeah. Ah, that
Um,
sucks though.
yeah, but I mean, I still had a good time. Like, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. Because the idea is you're meant to shoot all the Team Bowser people, but not the Team Mario people.
Well, yeah, okay, so describe the ride. Is it like everyone's on a singular track and at the same time going somewhere, or like what is it,
Yeah,
I guess?
you're on. So it is like a track, right? And there's
Okay.
four of you in the car. But in your AR glasses, occasionally it says like go right or go left.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that, you get like either a boost or coins. And you do see coins in front of you. And if I
Okay.
steer right, I do slightly go right, and left, I slightly go left and collect the coins.
Mm-hmm.
But my wife, who's next to me, can still miss them, even though, because I'm guessing it's the way that AR glasses do it. So it does
Yeah.
feel like you're in your own car.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
It sounds complicated, but
Right.
when you're in it and you're doing it, it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm like trying to visualize this, and I think I've even seen some videos online, and I'm like still quite not getting how this works. But I think I'm starting to understand a little bit now.
Yeah, I think it's sort of like I had a comparison in my head and then I lost it. But it is something that you've kind of just got to do for yourself, I feel like. I feel
Sure.
like this is probably like the ride in a theme park that YouTube does the least justice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know.
And it's a very unique one with the AR overlay. I don't know how many other rides use something like that.
Yeah, I can't. I know there's rides like you said, like the Void thing, where you put on a VR headset and stuff like that. But I think this is the first time I've ever used AR.
Yeah, I mean, assuming it works correctly, would you want to see more rides like that use that kind of technology?
Yeah, but I'm also of the thing where I'm like, give me new and fresh ideas and stuff like that. Because
Sure.
like, I remember when the Spider-Man ride opened at Universal,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's all anyone did for like 10 years.
Ah, true.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like the Transformers ride is exactly the same. Like,
Got it.
But no, I really, really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Then the next ride we had, like a fast pass for, was the Yoshi ride.
Ooh, what's that?
You sit in a Yoshi and you go around.
Yes.
That is it. It's like essentially, it's like it's a kid's ride. It's like a little. It's just different Yoshis on like a carousel type thing, and you just ride around. And there's like these free buttons, these free colored eggs, and it's like when you see the egg in person, press the color you see.
Sure.
So it's like, oh, there's a blue egg there, and then Yoshi goes, wow. I did it.
Yeah, we won.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
But yeah. That is just, it's a kid's ride.
Yeah.
Like if you are in Nintendo World when it comes to Orlando, or they've opened it in Hollywood now.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have the Yoshi ride there actually. I know they have the Mario Kart ride.
Yeah, I don't know if they're building things at the same level or not, or same rate, but yeah.
But I maybe won't wait 2 hours for it.
Yeah.
Like,
Makes
and
sense.
then there is a third attraction,
and
it's called like Bowser Jr. something, like where you got to fight Bowser Jr.
Okay.
But to do it, that attraction, you have to have that power-up band.
Okay.
And you also then have to go around the land and collect free keys to get into the Bowser Jr. attraction.
Okay.
So, like, there was one where there's this shell going along, and there's a pipe in the middle, and you've got to get it to when the shell is in the middle of the pipe, so it goes up and hits, like, the Goomba that's above, or the Koopa that's above, sorry. So you have to hit the power block at the exact right moment, and everyone's watching you.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, no pressure.
The shell's getting along, you go boom, the moment that it's in the middle of the thing you can't see it's in. That was fun. There was a one where this Goomba's like going on this like hamster wheel, and you got to spin the wheel to try and make the Goomba fall backwards.
Nice.
So I'm there spinning it like a madman, and then there's like kids going up and spinning at 1/10 of the speed and still passing. Cause
yeah, you're just like showing off at that point.
Yeah. And I swear, even though I did it like 10 times the speed, it still did it no quicker.
Probably not. Yeah. I'm sure they're wanting to make it accessible for kids and to do it.
Yeah. There was also another one where it was like this giant piranha plant, and it was like an animatronic that was like over the top of us.
Okay.
It's sleeping. And you, as a group, have to run around and hit the top of all the alarms that are going off to stop it from like waking up. So it's one of those ones where there's like 4 of you in the square.
Okay.
And you're like boom, 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 and they keep coming on, so you got to run from one corner to the other. That one was a lot of fun. That's
funny. They're really encouraging some of these group participation activities, it seems like.
Yeah. Even though I couldn't understand anything my teammates were saying or strategy or anything, you know.
That's Mario. Just hit things. He'll be fine.
Yeah, and then we went into the Bowser Jr. thing, and it's like a projection screen.
Okay.
and you just see your shadow on the projection.
Huh. All right.
So you got to like swat away the bombs and the Coopers and things like that. But then there's like bullet bills coming in from the
Oh.
side, and you have to crouch. And if you jump, your shadow legit jumps like 20 feet.
Oh wow. Damn.
Yeah.
That's
So
really
it's like
cool.
this big game where you're like fighting them off and stuff like that. And then at the end, it's like, do a big jump. So I do a big jump, and it's like, on 3. I'm like, well, I've already done the big jump.
Awkward.
Yeah. And then you jump, and like you end up on top of the flagpole and things like that. That
Nice.
one was a lot of fun as well. But we also ate at the Toad Cafe.
Oh yes, I've seen some pictures of this. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I had the Mario burger.
How was that?
A lot of mushroom. I don't like mushroom, so I took that
Yeah.
off. Um,
I can imagine.
the food was fine.
Yeah.
It's theme park food.
Yeah.
You know? But when you're in there, like all the screens are like the toads in a kitchen, like cooking.
Slaving away in the kitchen.
Yeah. But then on the other side of the wall is like you see out into the land, but it's all the toads walking around, right? So
Sure.
it's like a CG version of it.
Mm-hmm.
And about every 10 minutes, all the toads start screaming and running away because
Oh,
like
God.
Bowser comes in on his like airship. And like I said to my wife about the third time after it happens, like you think they'd be used to it by now. Like,
Well, it's not enough that they're probably working minimum wage in a kitchen. They're having to be attacked by Bowser's minions now. Look, they're just not getting the best shot in life right now.
but overall, the land, the immersion of it all is like amazing. If you've ever
Yeah.
done like the Harry Potter world, whether you like Harry Potter or not, like
Yeah.
that level of immersion they put you in, because like before that Harry Potter land, theme parks essentially used to be like, here's a ride.
Right.
The outsider have a bit of theming.
Sure.
Like, go have fun. But then when that opened, it was like you are in that land.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yeah.
And yeah, exactly. So, and like that's the same thing with like Galaxy's Edge or all the other stuff.
Yeah, there's a Cars land. The Roomba's going off.
All right, it's listening to us. Yeah, like Galaxy's Edge or any of those lands. They really like. I think I read somewhere that they purposely have started constructing them so that when you're in it, you like can't see the other lands, so you're like truly in it the entire time, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah. No, and it's one of those. It is special if you're a fan of them. And I think that's the thing now. We're at the age where the people with kids who are going to go to this place still play Mario.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, like I don't know about your parents, but like my parents never touched a video game.
I mean, barely, maybe once or twice, but yeah, not nearly to the level, obviously, that we would.
But then, like, it's weird because there's like this very fine window where, like, my older brothers stopped playing video games.
Same with mine.
But then everyone I know that's like my age does still play video games.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's very weird. There was like there's that fine line where like the generations sort of things changed.
Yeah, it became more normalized as like a hobby and not just like this degenerate activity to do anymore. To some extent.
You weren't like devil worshipping.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But
nice.
I think that's the last thing on my like nerdy list that most people are gonna want to know about.
Yeah. But yeah, just in general, since we have a little bit of time, so just in overall thoughts of Japan in terms of like traveling or the food. Like, did you go to convenience stores? Did you do any of the other typical
like,
stuff?
Obviously 7-Eleven type stuff, like because there was one right underneath our hotel. So most of the places in Japan don't really open for food until like 11. So we legit went to 7-Eleven every morning, just got something to hold us over, you know, like a smoothie and maybe like a roll, like a sushi roll of some kind, just to get us through until like our lunch.
Yeah.
The convenience stores, like I think we went in one, but we went in it to look and see what it was like, and then you realise, what am I doing here? Because like I'm never actually going to shop here.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Okay, to be fair, if you live there, they definitely come in handy for those quick
yeah,
bite to eats. Like, and the food is almost always good. Like, they
yeah,
have a huge selection, so it really like it gives true meaning to convenience.
yeah,
Unlike here in America, you go to like a Speedway and you have a hot dog that's been rolling for 8 years, and it's just like, what the fuck
yeah.
is this?
The 7-Eleven pizza that like you can tell has been reheated 4 times.
Exactly. But no, it's good. But yeah, I mean, what did you think of like traveling on like the subway? Like, did you use that a decent amount or?
So we use Google Maps. It took a little bit of getting used to because we thought
Sure.
what was the platform number actually was the stop number at
Mm,
first.
got
So
it.
it said like Shinjuku Station 5. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for platform 5. I'm like, but that's not this train. And then you
Mm-hmm.
realize Shinjuku Station's the 5th stop on that line.
Got it.
And I was like, right, okay. So there is a few things to get used to, but once you figure it out, like Google Maps is amazing, and nearly
Hmm.
all the signs are in English.
Yeah.
I love how polite people are on the subway,
Right.
in that they just keep to themselves.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Um, there is also the thing of like anytime I like bumped into someone, I like said sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But I found out afterwards that apparently, like in Japan, they don't really all normally acknowledge it if you
Mm-hmm.
bump into people, so people just keep walking.
Yeah.
Like you
I mean,
could
it's
you could push an
busy.
old lady to the ground and she'd just get up and walk away. Like
Should apologize to you.
yeah, but everyone was like really liked it when I said sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like they wouldn't say
Yeah.
sorry to me because in their culture they're like go go go.
Right.
You know, but then like when I said sorry or Sumi must then like they were yeah like thank you very much, like gave me a little bow and things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
The bullet train was awesome.
Yeah. That's a cool experience. Mm.
It's just also as well. It's like it was like $80 each to get to Osaka.
Yeah.
Like for value, you're going across the country.
Yeah, it's like smooth, like it's just a cool
Hmm.
ride. Like I don't know if you passed by and saw like Mount Fuji, depending on which route
Yeah,
you're taking or whatever, but that's a cool experience as well. Yeah, it's just a neat. It's just weird to be going that fast on land. Like it takes a
yeah.
second to realize.
Well, at first as well, like you're going through Tokyo, and I'm like, oh, I thought it was going to be faster, and then when you get out, you're like, whoa.
It's like poof.
Yeah,
And you can drink and bring bento boxes if you want. Like it's a good time. Like
yeah. That's the
it's
thing I was
convenient.
more excited about. I was like, what am I going to eat on this train?
This is the peak thing I need to plan
Yeah.
for.
My wife's like, look at Mount Fuji. I'm like, I'm eating.
This is the more important thing. So, did you have anything that really like surprised you of any kind?
The holes in the ground where there's normally toilets. Um,
Something's missing
yeah. Uh,
here.
they
Okay.
get angry. They get angry when you crap in the sink instead.
Look, I gotta pick one. What do you want?
Yeah.
All right.
Things that surprise me, I don't really know because there's things that in the moment surprise you, but then they very quickly become normalized.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it's a
Hmm.
bit hard on the spot to think what show. I'm sure if we just talked and things came up, I'd be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
this or that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Um,
What
like what I will say in the theme parks, the fact that people will queue half an hour for popcorn.
seems a bit much.
I've never wanted popcorn that bad in my life.
Must be some damn good popcorn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Anything you would maybe do differently, or like, would you plan anything differently? I guess, or
if I ever went back, which I'd like to think that at some point in my life I would, but then there's also a
sure.
million other countries I want to visit.
Yeah.
I'd probably just end up doing places that I'd probably do Tokyo again, but to places that weren't there as well.
Sure.
I'd do Kyoto. Like I'd
Mm.
love to do like Okinawa.
Yeah, of
You know,
course.
places like that, like Nara Park, things like that. I'd love to
Hmm.
go to those places. It's just we didn't have time for it,
Yeah. Right.
you know.
No,
But
that's good.
we got one of those scratch off maps. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Where
Scratch off maps.
so they're like scratch cards, but it's a world map, and you
Okay.
scratch off the countries you've been to, and it colours it in.
Oh no, I don't think I have.
Yeah. So we got one of those, and then you quickly realise every country you actually want to go to is tiny.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Exactly. That's fair.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Antarctica just to get some colour into the map. I'm like,
Yeah, I'm going for a quantity here.
yeah, because like the big three on there is like Antarctica, Russia, and China.
Just step foot in
And
once.
I've heard Russia's lovely this time of year.
Yeah, I might want to wait a couple years.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, that's it. Is like even if you go look at Europe, it's like that big on the map, all of it, and you're like, like
It's gonna be a bit. Yeah, you're gonna have to get a microscope on that one. That's funny. At least for the places you did visit, do you have a favorite?
As I said, most unique experience was that Dawn Robot Cafe. That sex special that was amazing. The Nintendo World was awesome. I can't believe like I actually went there. I can't believe it exists. As like the 90s, 2000s Nintendo kid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it seems cool.
But no, I would give Japan a thumbs up.
The final review to end it all. Thumbs up. All right. Would visit again.
Yeah, if you're in the area, swing by
for a layover.
Maybe a rent, not a buy.
I like that. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a cool place, obviously. I mean, goes without saying. Obviously, if you're into video games or anime or whatever, but even if not, like even if you don't do that stuff, there's so much cool stuff to do there. Like
the shrines, the temples, the food, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't even talk about like the Sky Tree and things like that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, and that's the thing too, to really let people know. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of neckbeards who want to go to Japan and just spend like 2 weeks in Akihabara, and it's like, yeah, spend a day or two there if you want, but like, don't spend a whole bunch of time there at the expense of just going other places. Like, there's more to it than that. And plus, even if you go to other places, more often than not, you will still find video game shops you can still visit. Like, you don't have to just spend time in Akihabara. So
yeah. I mean, it's the same as any vacation. It's like everyone's going to have the thing they want to do.
Yeah,
but
of course.
you could go backpacking in Japan. I don't know if you could go skiing there. I don't know if they have that there.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know, there's beaches. You can find all kinds of stuff. It's a big country with a lot of diversity.
Oh yeah. So whenever we decide to go next, and granted, it depends on how much time we have. We're really thinking about going to Hokkaido, which is the most northern part, so we can visit like the bath house type places, or like the natural spring, like, you know, bathing kind of places. And then especially in the winter, it's like beautiful there. I mean, it's kind of a pain in the ass to get there, but once you do, especially down around that time of year for the winter, there's like cool festivals and just so much interesting stuff to do there. And then same thing if you go down south. Like, it's really easy to sort of stay in the middle 50% of the country with like Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, and those are obviously amazing places, but that's the parts I really want to explore next, other than maybe going back to Okinawa again. But yeah, there's just so much to do there. It's an amazing place. So okay. But nice. Well, cool. I'm glad you went. Sounds like you had a good time. And if anyone has questions, feel free to drop them below. We can do a follow-up if people want to get the latest hot tips from you as well.
Well, my next review is going to be North Korea.
I got a great deal on it.
Yeah. The exchange rate at the moment is amazing.
Exactly. That's funny. But yeah, let us know what you think. And thanks for watching. And until next time, we'll get back to actually talking about some games we played, hopefully very soon. So cool. Talk to you later.
Bye.